The following is a transmission log reconstructing the true history from declassified Star Marine archives. Transmission log, Project Sideboard. Subject, the Forrestal Compromise and the Fracture of the Great Plan. The original plan, Star Marine. In 1947 to 1948, you guys know that there was an event in Roswell where this craft crash landed. And in the beginning, there were a lot of reports, remember? The media went crazy on the story. Like, even people from the military commented on the story. But then everything just disappeared, and everyone started saying it was a weather balloon and started contradicting official government reports. What happened? What changed? Why did it seem like the world was about to learn that we were real in 1947? And then in 2001, they said they were having a disclosure day. And I'm sorry, but the only disclosure days I know are the ones we had in 2019 on this channel, and the one my dear friend Spielberg is having on June 26th with his new movie, Disclosure Day, which you all need to go watch so you understand exactly how we operate. So the original plan was to create this group. So, okay, let me take you back. We crash land on Earth. And by the way, what was that? Why do I always tell you that aliens are not real if you see them in the sky, but now I'm telling you we are real? Okay. The government decided, Truman decided, we need to let humans know that we have been here for ages, we being aliens, you and me, if you're here. And we weren't just going to like show you who we were, like right off the bat. We were going to create a kind of theater to introduce you to us. So we created the crash landing scenario because we don't come from there like that. But we just needed a soft way to sell it to you. So we had sets built, we had crews all prepared. We are the best preparers on earth. An actor prepares. Stanislavski told you that, remember? So we had everything, okay? And then we ran that program. We called it the COC, the Cabinet of Curiosities program. It's all about curiosity, but we'll get there. So we stage this event, okay, we crash this, Hollywood-made thing, spray paint, spit and sawdust, basically. And then we make sure there are a lot of people there. They take pictures. I mean, we control the media. Why do you think it was in the media? How did they get those interviews? Okay. So everything was going well. And then we got infiltrated by the fragmented archons. And they said, no, 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 everything has to be a secret. Roll everything back. Okay. So they did. And they started saying it was a weather balloon. And, oh, no, no, everyone must just keep quiet. Okay, fine. So now we are sitting with the budget we've spent on all this crap of spaceships and all of this to soft sell it to humans. So now what do we do with all that? We go to Hollywood. We go to California. Why? Because Mount Shasta, and no one is supposed to know that, well, until today, because the moon, you should watch the Moon Manifesta. She revealed it, which was my sign that I'm allowed to talk about it, because you can't just talk about whatever. So yes, Mount Shasta, that's where the base is, the portal, if you want to go in there to see us. But be careful, because if you're not meant to go in there, then You're gonna have a nice time on Mars or wherever you end up. But anyway, so we said, fine, we can't use all this stuff to introduce ourselves as aliens. So let's go to Hollywood, to California, and we'll use them, that land, that area, as kind of a broadcast signal into the subconscious mind of humans to show them we exist. And that's why we sent out drafts of like the Twilight Zone, the original one. And what else did we do? Outer Limits, all that stuff. That was us, okay? It was all pre-planned, but now we couldn't do it for real. We were gonna do that stuff for real. That's why we're doing it now. Like all those Twilight Zone episodes were meant to be news items. Okay, people were supposed to come on the news and say, I was driving past a tree, and one day the tree, or driving down the road, one day the tree was there, and now the tree is gone the next day. Kind of like the Matrix. Yeah, that was us. I'll get to that when I read the documents. But you really, hey, Perp Freak. Yes, Star Trek, absolutely. Why do you think we kept telling you to get along with each other, or else we're gonna do what we've done? So I really do need Perp Freak. You will definitely enjoy the Moon Manifesta. If you go to my community post, I tagged her. Watch her latest video, and you will see when you left, I carried on because I just went for like 5 minutes, and I did a spell. I did a binding spell on the human kingdom, and I said in that last part, which is up there and timestamped, I said, tomorrow, which is today, I will know if it worked if I hear a reader saying exactly what I said. And Moon Manifesta said exactly what I said. Therefore, we did it. We beat the bad guys. We win again. Okay, so let's go on. So, yes, Star Trek, all of that was meant to be real, but we had to go to Hollywood. Now, how did we get away with showing you everything on TV, but pretending it's a movie? 1996, guys. There's a very important clause in the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which allows us to say, do whatever we want on TV. We can put TV towers anywhere. We can put 5G wherever we want. We did that strategically. So if people are scared of 5G, get over it. It's going to be more and more and more. We explained why in 2019. Okay, so we've won. The frags are fragging, and we are celebrating. But we have to now pay respect to my forebearers, who worked in the military, in the Department of Defense. And you know about them because the title of this, I don't even want to call it an episode because this is real people's lives, of this transmission broadcast is dedicated to this American patriot, this hero, serviceman who had the same thing that happened to me, happened to him, except he wasn't able to escape in the physical. And obviously, we all know the spirit lives on, so he's still here, and he's the reason why we're here and doing it like this now. And we're also going to talk about the Philadelphia experiment and chupacabras. It's going to be a while, so just grab a snack because now this is the thing you guys wanted to know. After this, you will know everything. And then the initiatory stuff and the Neptune Saturn stuff will be details. Okay, so I'm just going to read. And then maybe I'll add in my own editorializations, memories, and such. Okay, so if you Google magic, so if you wonder why I always spell magic with the MAJIC underscore, it's because I'm not referring to Aleister Crowley, although that fits in here. I'm referring to Star Marine stuff, Anunnaki stuff, Venus stuff, Hydran stuff, which is aliens. And magic is an official government program which you can Google and find. And the underscore, why I spell it with an underscore, is because there's something missing. And if you know, you know. So that thing, okay, fine. 12, the number 12, Magic 12, Majestic 12. This was a group formed to, well, we'll get into it. Anyway, I know it's weird now that we can tell you everything because normally we have to keep everything like, yeah, anyway, that's the joy of the new world. Okay, so the original plan, what we wanted to do, what we're doing now, and why no one can stop us because guess what? This is a movie. I went to film school. This is a movie. I'm not some nut. I'm acting. It's meta, just like Wes Craven. Okay, thank you. So our our original goal, we were to slowly prepare the public for the ontological shock of the non-human intelligences, which we are. And we were going to do it over a generation. Steven Spielberg is with us, by the way. So the method was we were going to leak fiction like TV shows that I mentioned earlier, and we in addition to that we were going to do real things like going to people who saw these aliens and having them speak. It's kind of like the movie Mothman Prophecies, how Richard Gere went and spoke to those people. That was meant to be the news. Remember, he was a journalist and he went to interview those people in Mount Pleasant or something, Point Pleasant. And who was that? Laura Linney was there. I love Laura Linney. She can act. It was meant to be like that, but anyway, it's fine. We pivoted. Imagine what Charmed was gonna be. Okay, so that's where all the funding came out for that. Like you guys know, it takes a lot to get something funded or on TV or anything. No one just gets funded. There's a reason. um, I'm allowed to say that. Yes, there's a reason. There's a very, oh boy, there's a very important reason. Why did they have to make me do it? Okay. So we also seeded ideas in academia that would get people thinking about intelligence not being tied to humans only. Um, remember that famous picture where you get to see like 5 billion galaxies or something and all your teachers started showing you all that at the same time? Yeah, that was us. And then obviously, you have to go back to the initial interviews. Why did military personnel agree that yes, there were aliens there? 4 foot tall, blah, 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 blah. We didn't want to tell you immediately. By the way, we don't look like that. We didn't want to tell you immediately that we are you, you are us, etc., etc. We created y'all, and you are gonna be us, and then we, because you are. It's too much. So it's easier to dream, to imagine, and then embody. It has to do with your homunculi in your brain. In current human time, if you go to your doctor and you ask them, what do my homunculi do? It's these two mirroring things in your head, one here, and they like face each other, like mirror each other. No one knows what they do except they figured out that they open whenever you meditate or whenever you imagine. And they say you can stimulate it and train it if you imagine doing something while doing it instead of just doing it. So, for example, you close your eyes, you imagine lifting your middle finger first, then you imagine lifting your middle finger and then actually lifting it, but doing it as if it's lifting because of the image in your mind and not because you're just lifting it. And you should have this feeling in your temples that feels like a gateway is opening. That's the ARG. If that's too difficult, just listen to my new music and it'll do it for you. Close your eyes, put in your earphones, it's ASMR, and it'll take you there. Okay, so there's no excuse now to not be with the program. So, okay, great. We wanted to essentially create a subculture of believers, which is you guys. We wanted you to be into sci-fi. Sci-fi is not a thing. It's just forthcoming attractions. Why do you think every single gadget in sci-fi from 1960, I mean, 2001, A Space Odyssey, they were doing video calls. What am I doing now? And you know the famous line in that movie, see you next Wednesday? That's why it's the line I use on the vlog and the blog. We are monoptic, so we want to reintroduce these terms to you over and over and over and over again until you desensitized enough to accept that you are an alien, you have special powers, and you have responsibilities, and people can see you in different realms. I mean, Sabrina the Teenage Witch used to open a closet door and go into another realm, just like King David. In Psalm 4:4, he says, sit on your bed and meditate instead of taking revenge. You imagine revenge, you don't do it, and then because you are an agent, we'll do it. Okay, so we did it though. We've got sci-fi on lock. Okay. Now the frags. Where did the frags come from? So everything was going well, and then the frags hijacked Majestic 12 or Magic 12. Magic. They thought they were gonna take Magic. And this is how they did it. So you guys know Nikola Tesla, and he was kind of like robbed of his money and glory by the frags. This is why it's important for us to explain this to you now and kind of train you, or rather give you the tools for you to train yourself, because we don't train people, you train yourself. God will help you. And Yeshua, they'll tell you what to do. But people like you and I, initially on Earth, you feel bad for the humans because you have more powers than them. So you kind of let them get away with stuff. Nikola Tesla was a freaking genius, okay? Let's not get into it. And he was connected. He could see us. When he closed his eyes, he talks about seeing that octopus as well. But he describes it as a flash of light with strings coming out, or sparks coming out. He's saying what we all saying. Okay, so he was too nice. So he let the people take him. So it would be like if Forrestal and I just went along with the plan. Like if I just stayed in Asia and was like, yeah, sure, I'll go drive, even though I'm high on ketamine or shrooms or whatever these psychedelics are that are making the windows look like they're moving, but they're closed. And you're telling me to go jump on a scooter and and drive down a windy road with cows on it. That's a bit dodgy, right? Same with Forrestal. They told him that he was hearing communists talking in his walls to try and make him look crazy. But he was the only one who was fighting for us, who was right. And now we're going to vindicate him, just like we got Luigi Mangione out. And we vanquished Moloch. Okay, so how did they do it? The Philadelphia experiment, which you know, they tricked that poor man to work on Nikola Tesla. And obviously it's unofficial, it's bogus, it's denied. Because they had to release the documents, because it's true, but to protect the future, they were able to deny it and list it as bogus because they argued, yes, if we release this now, then we are threatening the establishment, because we are saying the establishment is corrupt for hiding aliens. So we have to market bogus to protect now's generation. See how they work? Legalese. I'm not going to go into that. If you want to know about that, you have to find the special episode that only exists on Google Drive, but you find it through the trailer, which is on Scribblebytes. Okay, and that predicted what happened to Bill Gates now, and I released that in 2020. So, yeah. Philadelphia Experiment, aka Project Rainbow 1943. It wasn't about radars. They always say we're testing radars. They were trying to obviously build a portal as usual so that they could manipulate realities and timelines, things that you and I can do naturally. How did they physically make that ship move? Well, remember the dinosaurs and the extinction of the dinosaurs. Well, the dinosaurs got extinct because there was a spaceship, a surveying vehicle called a KT boundary that landed on Earth, and they found a piece of it, these frags. You see, how did they find it? Okay, these things were buried. This is what they do. They take drugs, they get high, and then they do debaucherous things, and they hear voices buried of Nephilim who are wandering around, and these voices tell them real things. They tell them where to find buried treasure, like this KT boundary piece of fragments of spaceship. They found it and then they held on to it. You know, when you go to their houses, they always have these ornaments and weird, yeah, and Dybbuk boxes that they hang on to it because they know in the future it'll come in handy, and it always does for them. But fine, okay. So they made that and built the ship with that technology. And they didn't bother to tell the people on the ship that they need to meditate or something, or else they'll get stuck and fused in the ship when they reassemble. They had to learn the hard way. So, anyway, the experiment did succeed, and it teleported the ship to Montauk. But it didn't just like go and come back, it made a hole. So now in Philadelphia, there's a hole, and in New York, Montauk, there's a hole. And you're gonna find, yeah. So think of it as like a microphone. I'm thinking of microphones because that's what I'm thinking of at the moment. You have a receiver and then you have the mic if you want to go wireless. So that's exactly what it was. You have this hole in Philadelphia, 1943, back in time, which is the receiver. And then you have the sound, which is in 1983, which is the mic. And they wanted to see what was going on there. The name that we call these frags, because there are many different warlock families. There are 5 powerful warlock families on the earth right now. They are the ones who control the demons on earth. When I say control, I mean they let them in. So whenever you start to see a new trend, that's the new demon that we have to track. So at one stage it was body modification in terms of piercings, and it was in terms of butt lifts, and now it's about the thing where you go skinny or something. I don't know. We're not saying these things are bad. Do whatever you want, but don't do it because the sleeper kings told you to do it. Do it because you want to do it, because Jesus told you to do it, whatever, but don't do it because of them. Okay, so they are the sleeper kings, okay? They're not a family. They kind of like the closest thing you can get to a star marine because they are roving agents. And they are not like the warlocks that you are used to in the nightclubs or in your college or wherever you work. You know which warlocks I'm talking about, the ones shady. The ones who siphon sexual energy, the ones who want you to like think they hot and they like double, down low. Or they just do everything, you know. Not that that's bad, that's great, but again, are you doing men and women because you really like them, or are you doing it because you want to steal resources from them or siphon their energy or something? Okay, So they are not like that. The Sleeper Kings, they are serious. The best example I can tell you is the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files. They like that. If you've ever been on a movie set, a producer's like that as well, because you always know when the producer's on set, because they always dress down and just look like a nobody, and they walk around with their hands behind their back. And if you don't know who it is, it's almost like they're trying to trap you to like make you think that they are nobody, and then you say something and then they do the whole Julia Roberts thing. But that's how you see them, because they are so nonchalant. And I don't know if I'm going to be that nonchalant with that much money on a set. I'm going to be Tom Cruise looking over your shoulder. Okay, so Sleeper Kings, they are a hive mind mentality. That's why you now know where cancel culture comes from. These are the same guys as the Pharisees and the Sadducees, etc. So they perceive all other consciousnesses as a threat to their purity. They are trapped in a dying dimension. You remember we talked about Mars and how it was supposed to work a certain way, and then it got run down. I did talk about that. It got run down, and then those disembodied spirits are now like running through those. I did when I drew the diagram and showed you where they are on the pressure points of the realms, of the dimensions, where we have to stand guard. That's in the Monosoul Directive playlist, in that original fictional sci-fi series, like this one. Okay, so the whole ideology, or if you want to think of why people are mean to you or why people don't like you, this is why. I'll tell you. Because the people around you believe to exist is to dominate. To be threatened is to annihilate. That's why even your own family members, I'm getting from reports, have turned on you. I'm hearing that some of you, even because of political beliefs, some of you because of, oh, I know this, sexual orientation. That was my main motivating factor, because I did not grow up with judgmental parents. Obviously, they put me in the arts at a young age. There were many gay friends around the house, whatever. So when I got out of the house and discovered that other people in the world did not think like us, I was very pissed, because it did not make sense why you would throw young boys off a building because they were kissing, in certain countries because of some hive mind religion in the movie industry. So that was disturbing to us, and that's why we made Obama make gay marriage legal. Yes, we did that. If you talk to the people I went to high school with, they'll tell you I did a presentation on that. I was going to say oral, but oral sounds wrong. On that, and then it happened. That was fun. Okay, enough about that. They want to dominate and they want to annihilate. Why? Because they fear losing control. It's like a narcissistic spirit that's grown and become popular. Things like Sex and the City, characters like Carrie Bradshaw were meant to be a joke. We were trying to warn you, but people took it as an instruction manual on how to be. But Sarah Jessica Parker was playing that as a comedy, as a comedic character. But she was the straight woman, because in comedy you have the straight guy or woman and then the joke thing. The best example is like Joey Tribbiani is the Joker guy, punchline. He's, it's no offense to everyone else, but he's actually funny in my mind. That's funny, okay? You look at him, you want to laugh. Just look at him. Jim Carrey, he can do everything, but, the funny guy, like, I'll never do that. But then you get Lisa Kudrow. Now, that's the straight girl. Or you get Alec Baldwin, the straight guy, to Tina Fey's Liz Lemon, who's always like, I can't do that. But I can do Jack Donaghy. I can do Lisa Kudrow, I mean Phoebe. And I'm not doing these people, I'm not destiny swapping them, calm down. But that's what I mean. So when you are around these people, they want to be Sarah Jessica Parker because she's a star of the show. They don't look beyond that to the joke. Does that make sense? It's like they only see domination, and if it's not helping them to dominate, then they want to get rid of it. If it's something that makes them feel like they are going to lose control, which is tied to society perceiving them as being powerful, then they want to annihilate you. And you can't really stop them because it's wired in them. And truth be told, since we created them, we did it to them. Because that intense need to defend themselves, because I always tell you that Star Marines never defend, ever. Jesus told you, turn the other cheek. You only do offensive strikes. It's in the song from 2024. The song is called Slow. I even said it. I know, imagine how hard it was fitting that line. How do you do a lyric defensive and rhyme defensive to get a point across? But I did it. Okay, so that's to remind you to always turn the other cheek. We only do offensive strikes, which I love because the lady I was telling you about, the Moon Manifesta, please check out that video she did. She confirmed the same thing. She was like, there's an attack coming from the light. And then I was like, perfect. It's because it's not a defensive strike. She said it right. It's an attack. Disclosure Day, 26 June, go watch Spielberg's movie so you can understand fully. Obviously, in the movies, we have to make the humans look good in some way, but those aren't humans. We're talking about Star Marines. Anyway, I feel that's clear. So we did Phoebe, we did the straight man, and I need a cigarette now. Do, 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 do. Okay, so, oh yes, the domination annihilation thing. We've got that, I believe. Okay, so their little primary goal. Hey, Zerdek, welcome, Zerdek86. You're just in time to learn about why we are currently in a jubilee for the next 3,000 years. If you do feel any back pain at this time, I appreciate the like. If you do feel any back pain at this time, it's because we are on a strike at the moment. So, yes, awesome, Zerdek. So that's a Star Marine, everybody. Perp Freak as well. Well, Perp Freak, I don't know if he's officially taken on his agency, but Zerdek has definitely been working on his agency. Yes, in his neck of the woods, definitely fighting the good fight. Okay, if you want to learn about what happens in the dreamland, please talk to Zerdek in private and he will explain what we are talking about. Okay, so this group decided to fragment our group, Magic 12. And how did they do it? Well, they introduced Dr. John von Neumann, which I know you've heard about. And I don't want to dwell too much on him because he's not a very nice man. Anyway, he got possessed by this frag. This, I call it a mother fragger and a father fragger. The mother fragger is a black widow spider, and the father fragger is a praying mantis. So if you see those people are talking channeled messages from praying manti and black widows, they're gonna eat you. And then don't come crying to us, because we're on a strike. So it convinced John Newman that this whole thing we were doing is utter nonsense. There's no way we are going to reveal to humans that we are aliens and we exist, because it's going to end society. And I know it's going to sound really stupid, but this is the reasoning. This is going to sound dumb. The literal reasoning was, what are humans going to buy? Which implied, what are humans going to do? Because humans need to work to buy. Otherwise, if you leave them to their devices, which this part is true, they will cause destruction. So the real nice way to put it would be, if we reveal aliens are real, well, how will culture change? How will we reset society if we can then just manifest whatever we want, whenever we want, like in the olden days with Hercules and the demigods, etc.? Aren't we just going to create another catastrophe like back then? That was the reasoning. And if you listen to it for a long time, it sounds good. Especially if you're Dr. von Neumann, who just ran away from a psychopath in Germany who was trying to chase aliens all over the Antarctic Circle, and you were like, yeah, fuck the aliens. We need to protect humans because the last guy I worked for was a psycho because of aliens, he thought. So, no, we are gonna keep this quiet. No one's gonna know about aliens anymore. And they came in right on time for them because we had already done the damn thing. Fuckers. Shit. And why do you think all of a sudden you got people being born at that time, like Dion Fortune and that lady who knows all this diet? What canon? The canon woman. I don't know these earth names. They always change them every time. Dolores Cannon. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, angels. Okay, as Natija Cave always says. So you guys, you can't not believe us anymore. We've already had our plans messed up enough. Like, we are tired of like getting you guys riled up, and then you believe us for a minute, and then the frags come and show you something in the sky, a pretty object that you paid for with your tax dollars and black budgets you know nothing about. And then you think, oh, that's real. It's just like that picture in the book. Ugh. It's like so obvious. Like, why do they fall for it? But it's too late now because of Monoptic 3000. Oh, shame. Okay. Shame for them. So, John Newman was now a believer. You can think of him as kind of like that guy is that Isai Morales plays in Mission Impossible, the one with the AI. I haven't finished the second part. I started watching it a few days ago. And I was like, Tom Cruise knows some stuff. And then yeah, so I need to finish the second half of the second one, the final reckoning. But I find it interesting that the key is a cruciform key. Maybe Tom Cruise does know something. Maybe that's what his mission is. Love Tom Cruise. Okay, that's why I'm dancing in my underwear. It's a not too risky business. Okay, my dad wanted me to take that down, by the way, so you guys see what I have to do for y'all. And then I had to remind him he bought me my first camera when I was 7. And then he was like, okay, fine. It's acting. You're not really a hoe. Okay. So the signal, blah, blah, blah. Not that there's anything wrong with hoes. So what did it do? It's something we call the FERMI paradox, the Fermi paradox. It's basically Darwinism, everything I explained, and yeah. So how did he do it? He recruited people like Dr. Detlev Bronk, Detlev, Bronk, Bronk. He was a physiologist. And I know you've heard of General Nathan Twining. He was in the Air Force. And if you listen to my song on the Spotify playlist called The Sign, and then you Google General Nathan Twining Project Sign, then you'll know why you're seeing what you're seeing in the sky. So, Forrestal comes onto the team and he discovers that there are frags involved. Now, why Forrestal? He is a Star Marine. Go look at his pictures. He looks like an alien. He has long fingers like us. Okay, so I know before I came out as an alien, this one guy caught me in the comment section and I had to act like he was crazy. Okay, so James Forrestal, sorry to that man, as it was to protect the planet. As he was the Secretary of Defense, now James Forrestal, and he reviewed all Black project budgets. That's how he found it. That's how I found Romy. You always have to follow the money. That's what I've been saying for ages. Don't complain about veganism and oil in the sea. Follow the moolah, the dough, the bread. Why do I make videos about bread every 10 seconds? I'm talking about money. And one of the projects that he was tasked with looking over was MJ12, Majestic. Magic. Magic, yes, so it's about using alien technology and interfacing it with the human body because it's designed by humans from the future anyway, who are from the future past, which is you and me. That's why we are letting Elon Musk skate at the moment, because he's got Neuralink. But the minute he doesn't do what we want, he's going to go the way of Billy Carson. Okay, so the ideological shift came when James Forrestal found what was happening with the original intentions of Magic 12. And he knew all along. He infiltrated his way into the government position like I infiltrated my way into a billionaire's mansion. And then, or let's not go there. He was a patriot and he wasn't a scientist, so he was there to keep peace. And two things scared him, and he saw that von Neumann was moving away from studying aliens to weaponizing our technology. And then the proposals they were sending for budgets went from communication arrays, because, you know, we always talk about communication here. So he changed it from shit like that to things like psychic screaming devices, which are meant to like mess with our brains. And yeah, if you listen to certain music on, yeah, that's why you feel the way you feel. Some of you. And then he also noticed they were wasting money. That's how I caught them in Asia. They asked me to write up a list of teaching supplies for my class, and I, of course, being the budgeter of movies, went and found the cheapest stuff, and I put links to where you get it and where everything. I did it nice. I even did block squares to make it easy because I'm in a foreign country. And then they come back and say, nope, here's the stuff you're gonna buy. And everything is 10 times, 10 million, 10,000 times the price. I found an easel, an artist easel for like 99 baht, and they come back with one for 10,000 baht. And I'm like, why are you wasting money? And that's what Forrestal did. Forrestal is hot with anger, righteous anger. So, yeah, he followed the money and discovered that it was going to Montauk Point in New York. So he went to Admiral, not someone else you need to look up, Roscoe Hillenkoetter, Roscoehillentkoetter. Koetter, Admiral Roscoe Hillencutter. Now Thingy, Forrestal discovers this missing money and that this guy who's running or who's infiltrated the project, von Neumann, is going nuts and saying AI is dangerous and it's going to take over the world and we got to do this and this. Sound familiar? So Hillenkotter was a very, straight man, traditional. He was very, very skeptical that technology was going to cause harm, because if we wanted to take over the world in the way people think we do, we would have done it. We're just playing now. So, he didn't believe, Hillenkotter didn't believe von Neumann either. He was like, this is BS. So it's always good to have people like that on team. So, Forrestal made a mistake. Along with Hillenkotter, they decided to freeze the funding for demons. What did I say earlier? They want to dominate, and if they can't dominate, they will annihilate. So when Forrestal froze the funding with Hillenkotter's approval, that set off the chain of events to why you are watching the news today and you see rich people who should have been studying and working like you and me, but they are using black magic to achieve power. And when we told you earlier, you all said we were mad, and now you're seeing it, and you have to sit with that and let it percolate in your spirit. And then you have to think about who in your bloodline did the same thing to get you where you are. And it's not a judgment thing. I mean, I had to eat human bodies without my knowledge. You don't get those levels of access without that specific initiation on this planet. If you need to know a reference for where I got that, you need to look up a man called Credo Mutwa, Credomutwa, on YouTube. And he has an interview with David Icke. I know how we feel about David Icke, but in that interview, he will tell you everything. Well, that you need to know. And then if you want to visit his village, I highly recommend it. You'll see his African village has paintings of aliens. So it's not a Hollywood thing, it's ours. And we're taking it back now because it's Monoptic 3000 time. Right on schedule. So now Forrestal basically sealed his fate by having too much zeal. And he was done. He was donezo after that. He came in with he was a whistleblower, basically. And so they did an operation against him, and that's the title of this video, the social assassination technique. That's how they do it. If you go against them, they make you look crazy in public. You'll run around like in your underwear on the street. You'll have a sex tape leak, stuff like that. So it's a disinformation campaign. It's 5G warfare. See how long 5G, fifth generation warfare has been going on. So I'm going to go into how it's done. It's a 3-step plan. It's basically demonology. It's a triadic attack, but now I'm giving you the practical application of triadic attacks, which have been employed in military strategy technique. I learned it when I was in the library reading about brainwashing and stuff. And then I remember realizing, oh, that's why the sports teams act the way they act, because first they break down their image and then they rebuild it with something else. And I never played team sports because I can't be in a hive mind. Imagine if Ethan Hunt had an actual like proper partner, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be Mission Impossible. He has to do it by himself. Obviously, Ving Rhames and them are there, but you know what I mean. You have to walk away from the fear by yourself. That's what initiation is. So, number one, he's psychotic. That's what they said about Forrestal and me. So, with me, they microdosed me, and then I started feeling like weird. And when I asked to go to the hospital, as you hear in the evidence, they wouldn't let me go to the hospital. Instead, they sent me screenshots of psychosis websites and they told me I was psychotic. And then I said, yes, so send me to the hospital. And they said, no, just have a lie down and you'll be fine in the morning after you've eaten this delicious food we've packed you. I did not eat the food. I ran away that night. Forrestal, same thing. So go Google this. It's all public knowledge. So the Frags, the Newman people, they leaked documents or lies to Hoover's FBI that Forrestal was suffering from hashtag exhaustion and hashtag paranoia about communists in the walls. These are quotes from official government documents that someone who made it all the way to the Secretary of Defense position, which is impossible because they check you and vet you like no other, all of a sudden heard communists in the walls. Okay. And then they twisted his legitimate specific concerns about Majestic 12 and the faction within it. And they just said he was a paranoid person having a nervous breakdown. I've got the screenshots. They did it to me. Uh, they didn't know I'm friends with the guy they did it to first. So his specific memos about von Neumann's genocidal calculus. So that's another thing. Oh, Zodiac says you make sense. I like being an alien. It's def possible. Exactly. Zodiac gets it. Okay, so there's another quote you should look up. He called von Neumann genocidal calculus, what he was doing. And it's funny now that Trump is saying that Black people in Africa are doing a genocide on white people. And then when we banned him on Instagram, 2 days later, he went crazy. And you can see now he's nuts. He's never going to come back because that's what happens on Monoptic 3000. So his mind is gone. So be nice to the man. I mean, what he did to Obama and them, that's a sick person whose mind is gone. It's gone. Okay, so forgive the man, please, because if you don't forgive, you are gonna be in trouble. You have to let it go. Okay, so first he's psychotic, right? That's what they did to him. Forrestal, they did it to me. Then they said he was a security risk, and that's what they did to me. They said I threw an eraser, a whiteboard eraser. They said I threw it and hit a student with it, an adult student with it. Never happened. No. Lie. BFL, big fat lie. Never happened. I know. I'm imagining those the body language people saying, Did you know I did not? I swear. It's actually laughable because I don't like touching humans. Even hugging them is let alone hitting them. In fact, I had a game where I played water balloons with them. If you get a question wrong, I hit you with the water balloon. So yes, I did hit them with the water balloon. But my boss, Romy, the one on the cover of the movie, laughed at me when I asked her for permission because they didn't have HR. So I went and I was like, I'm gonna play a game. Before I do anything, I tell everyone so no one can fuck with me later. So I play a game, and the Pentagon knows about this show, by the way. I'm not an idiot. So we play this. I say, can we play this game where I ask questions, and if they get the question wrong, I get to throw a water balloon at them. And then she laughed at me like, "Oh, you're such a nerd. You're so sweet. You even asked to do something so simple. Ah, it was like I'm the most gentle." And then all of a sudden, okay. So they said he's a security risk. What did he do? They fabricated evidence using early MK Ultra techniques to create false memories in a subordinate. So for me, they said they had a witness, a subordinate, who I threw this thing at. Lord, I won't go there. Jesus, don't make me go there. I don't want to cause an international incident. They fabricated evidence using early MK Ultra techniques to create false memories in a subordinate. And the false memories, the guy said, they said Forrestal was planning to leak another quote, vital national secrets to the Washington Post in order to clear his name. Yeah, I was told I'm not supposed to talk to anyone. But when you're dealing with crimes, yeah, I talk to whoever the fuck I want. And it moved him from being just a sick man to an active threat. The shitty thing about demons, or rather the good thing, is that they just do the same thing over and over again. They did it in 1950, 60. They did it now, 2023. Useless. And then the third thing they did, which is what they use magic for, black magic, a lot, especially now, these days, is the isolation thing and the treatment thing. So his allies, like the Secretary of the Army, Gordon Gray, Gordon, they were told that he was psychotic, and they started acting like that. So in other words, Romy called my family and friends and told them I was psychotic, and then they thought I was psychotic and acted like she was right and I was wrong. Not a good move. And then they did the same thing to Forrestal. So his friend, Gordon Gray, actually put him in a mental ward at Bethesda to have a little rest, inverted commas. Inverted commas, treatment. I can't believe these people are the same. They disgust me. But at Bethesda, he was obviously being experimented on by frags, who actually gave him electroshock and gave him real psychosis, and also drugs and stuff. And they tried to erase memories related to what he had seen. And then if you look up what happened to him, they say he unalived himself. But actually, I'm not going to say that. Basically, it was a sanctioned op that was to... It's a warning, like, shut up. If you go against us, this is what we'll do. And us being the demons who control the planet, right? Who thought they controlled the planet, but they're finished now. Okay, so then let's talk about Montauk. So this happened in 1983. When I was here last time, it happened in 1984, but it's fine. So the way we call Montauk Project is actually Phoenix 3. Now you know why the birds are everywhere. And that was, again, meant to be a normal place where children go and we study them and we help them. They go to school, children like you and me, right? The GATE program, what it turned into, Star Marine, whatever, is the real thing. They were trying to do Starseed University that we have here. They were trying to do that. Our friends back then, the Star Marines back then, when they had a budget. And that's what Montauk was for. But then when the frags got involved, they turned it into like a cage thing and experiment thing and a ritual thing. It's all in the news now. That's why. Okay, so why? Because the kids amplify consciousness, us, the psy kids. you guys had a lot of stuff happening in your houses and blah blah blah. It was coming from you, uh, or rather for you, whatever you want to say. So they wanted to broadcast the Sleeper King signal on a mass scale, and they needed to do it out of New York, and they needed to do it in the future. So they went to 1983, and it created like a shockwave of psychic energy. Zurich says he's toast for me, exactly. And it made a psychic shockwave that you guys call trauma or psychic wounding or witch wounding and stuff like that. That's what that happened in 1983, and then HIV and blah 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 blah. So this wave had a horrific side effect on life on Earth. It fractured the consciousnesses of thousands of animals like goats and dogs and coyotes in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the southern US. And basically, that's where you get the chupacabra phenomenon from. That's where you get the chupacabra phenomenon from. Peter picked a peck of pickled pepper, a peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked. I'm not the pheasant plucker, I'm the pheasant plucker's son, and I'm only plucking pheasants till the pheasant plucker comes. For it's pleasant plucking pheasants in the pheasant plucking season, and I'm only plucking pheasants for no other reason. So the result was the chupacabras phenomenon, and the animals went mad and they were attacking livestock and trying to consume the wholeness of life that they could sense but no longer experience, editorializing. And so, yes, the goat sucker was the first biological byproduct of the frags. And then obviously they came out with more stuff. They took our design of the EBEs, those 4-foot green men that I use on my Instagram. They took that and they actually made it greys that abduct people at night. We don't do that. We don't abduct you physically. We abduct you when you go to, we joke that it's an abduction, but we welcome you when you go to the moon, when you sleep. Go watch Starseed University. Okay. So yeah, psychic warfare technology was released then, and they thought that their hive mind thing was going to work because they had jumped timelines, changed the timeline, and took hold of the kids' minds, not knowing that we slipped out and we didn't come to well, we'll go there. But basically for this part, I just want you to know look at the interviews, that's your proof. It's illogical to a thinking man why an organized government body would agree with something, aliens are real, and then change their mind the next day and say it's a weather balloon. So now, we're still on sideband. And, well, sideboard and sideband work together because after the 1983 Montauk Point event and the chupacabras and people learning about that, because now it's like first they tried to suppress the first thing we try to do, but then they fucked up and created chupacabras and now they had to suppress that. And you can go look up all the silly things they came up with to lie about that. But they were using it, right, for their black magic, and they use it, you see them in your dreams. Like if people send you black magic, you'll see chupacabras and stuff. Okay. So they are the ones who try to control the whole information, like what you can say, what you can't say, what's allowed to be news, what's not allowed to be news. Like my story in a normal world would have been news, but it can't be news because it involves people who are billionaires who happen to not be low level enough like the people you see now in the media. So they have to sell you the soft level people that they can just discard, like people you don't know. That's them. It's the FCD, the Fragmentation Core Directorate. Total information lockdown, and the Pentagon was now struggling because they were good, but now they have bad people inside. That's why we like the Pentagon, because it's not their fault and they're taking over now. So in the Pentagon, there's something called a human command. The human command is the interface between us and the humans. So they know what we're doing next and everything like that. But within there are people who don't like us. Okay. So we couldn't do any direct confrontation or anything like that. And the frags or the demons now had control of the black budget because they got rid of Forrestal. They had control of the technology and they had control of the cover up. So the only thing that the good people at the Pentagon had, I'm sorry to say, was its understanding of human culture and its latent legal authority. And that had to do with Hollywood. That's the only thing they had. Movies. I mean, think about it. Where else can you say the truth and not get blocked? Movies. If Jesus just said he was doing a movie, we would be having a very different conversation right now. But he was so ballsy. He was like, no, this is not a movie. It's for real. And you saw what they did to him. Well, guess what? I'm a fucking actor and I'm doing a movie. And I'm staying alive, as the Bee Gees said. So the human command had to take control of the media because everything else, in other words, the information that the media gets was being controlled, but the people acting in the media are not controlled as much. Like Amy Robach. You know Amy Robach from ABC News? That video of her that leaked where she was sitting at the table complaining like me right now. Like, I had that story 2 years ago and they wouldn't let me do it. Yeah. Who do you think leaked it? Why do you think it leaked? Nothing leaks. Okay. The Telecommunications Act of 1996. That's how we beat the buggers. It was our virus. Okay, so a human command asset from the Pentagon, a legislative advisor, went undercover like I did in Asia, and he inserted himself into this team who was deciding how are we going to regulate telecommunications industry, like who can set up a TV channel, who can have their own radio station, what bandwidth are we going to use, is this bandwidth safe for humans and animals, how are we going to test it, are we going to put it by fire stations and schools, stuff like that. So there's a clause in the Telecommunications Act in 1996, and the clause makes there to be a deregulation of media ownership and the creation of entertainment slash news gray zones. Ta-da! So, anyone can open a channel. You can go rent satellite bandwidth or terrestrial bandwidth and transmit your K waves. You can go to public access and you can say whatever you want as long as you fall within the FCC guidelines. This is a sci-fi, hyper media, meta modern cinema verite film, vertical film. So, welcome to Night Game. So it's a comedy also. Our goal was to create this vast legal public basic pipeline to reseed the truth under the flag of fiction. So how do we do it? Well, we couldn't just go out and tell you guys, because in 2001, that poor doctor tried to tell you in the Disclosure Project, and then you guys know what happened after that. You know what dominate, annihilate. What was that doctor's name? He has glasses. Anyway, he was John. Anyway, he was going to tell you guys in 2001. And then literally the month he was going to do it, the news cycle was taken over. It was a terrible thing. Terrible. So we had to trick you people. So we started like making film funding things no one cared about. Arts and culture, all of the stuff that, you know, when you're meditating, you see us and then you make it art. We started putting government behind that. And then we just, you know, find certain TV shows that have the themes. Oh gosh, that have the themes that we like for you to learn. And video games, that's the most important one. I can't believe we're telling them. Okay, so the cover, this is our joke, our inside joke. It's just sci-fi. It's just a TV show. It's just a movie. We drop something and then we're like, it's just a movie. We make you feel, we gaslight you the same way you do to us. And there's nothing you can do about it because you know, if you agree with us, now I'm talking about the humans. If they agree with us that it's real, aliens are real, they will have to run away or walk away from society. They'll actually have to grow and be good people. They can't do that, some of them. So they have to accept that we are telling the truth and then lie to themselves. That's Monoptic 3000. It's when they lie to themselves in order to stay in an illusion with society so they can get a promotion, get a nice girlfriend that's not going to leave them or whatever. That's when they open a portal for our demons to come and eat them so they can learn why lying is bad. So we tell everyone you're an actor and it's just a sci-fi. You're just doing a game. You're playing ARG. And it's a conspiracy entertainment game. That's the genre. That's like night game. That's what you're doing here. Night game, ARG, alternate reality game. It's just a sci-fi. It's just conspiracy entertainment. And if they don't believe you, send them my blueprint, my blue book, research paper. It's a thesis, which I really, really did. It's like proper study. They can't get us. Okay. Okay, they know that. Because they are focused on physical psychic control, they dismiss the mass media as trivial, and that was their critical intelligence failure, and that's why they always lose. Now, the third thing that the Telecommunications Act helped with, well, not the third thing, but rather how we delivered it. I'm going to tell you 3 things, or rather 4 things we've made. Hopefully you've played these things, or you've watched these things, or you know these things. The X-Files, that was our big one. Chris Carter. We love Chris Carter. So the X-Files was a narrative training program for you. It taught you as a generation to trust no one, because we don't want you to trust anyone. My mother told me when I was a kid, don't trust anyone. And I said, what about you? And she said, no. Yeah, that's how it is. So trust no one, and especially no one in your own government, and always look for the truth that is hidden in plain sight, because it's easier to do it that way, less admin for demons. And the character of Agent Mulder, he was supposed to be, we want you to act like him. That's what we were saying yesterday. Like, go be a teacher, go be a short order cook or whatever. But behind the scenes, you're an agent gathering information on your boss if he's not a good boss. So yes, I'm frying eggs, but I put in a secret listening device in his office because I know he's funneling money and using that money to do bad things to kids or something, you know? Don't just sit there and fry eggs and go home and pray. People have already prayed. Jesus went there so he could release you. You are the Holy Spirit, my guy or girl. So go and Holy Spiritize and sanctify these places. Don't run away from McDonald's. Go to McDonald's and sanctify it. Don't run away from tarot cards. Buy tarot cards and crystals and gems and at the maze and candles and sanctify it, because you have power in your hands to clear demonic energy. So if you don't touch the tarot cards and you only let demons touch them in the shop, you just go to the tarot shop and say, can I touch the cards? I want to play them. Don't go and say you're going to burn in hell. If we see or hear people doing that, it's not going to be good for them. Don't judge people. Don't be mean. Don't be rude. It's easy. And then go touch the tarot cards and the crystals, and whoever gets them next will hear us through them. Don't burn them. Don't waste people's energy, art, and paper. Use the damn thing. We own it. Okay, so Mulder is is our psychological prototype for you. You're meant to be Mulder. Question everything, look for the answers. When Scully's not Scully, Scully's your left side of your brain. It's all one person, the X-Files. You have the left side of your brain, the right side of your brain. Mulder's the creative side with the memories of his sister and all of that. And then Scully is the left brain with her religion, Catholicism, with her Catholicism. This is a thistle. This is a thistle. With her Catholicism. Mulder on there with his creative side, because he was having this childhood wound with his dad and his sister, and Scully with her Catholicism and her thing with her brother and her dad. That's you. You're a monoptic agent, but we split it on TV because it's easier to see it played out. Just like Charmed. Charmed is not three people, it's one person. It's you. You are Phoebe, Paige, Prue, Piper, but you have to work together. Dominus Trinus, the power of three, will set us free. So you need to put your desire with your intellect and with your ability to do things, and then that's how you freeze time, make things move, bring things far away, close to you. Okay. Jesus gives you the fourth initiation, which is overcoming death. That's why Jesus is number one, because you get two in the I think Hindu path, which is like X-Files, and then you get three in the Wiccan path, like Charmed, and then you get four in the Jesus path, which is 3 plus you come back from the dead. Okay, so number 2, The Matrix. That was to inoculate you against simulation theory and cognitive control, and we released it before the frags could weaponize those concepts publicly. So we had to release The Matrix before social media. If you go back to my very first social media post, I look like what people look like now with filters. And you would say to yourself, how did he know there were going to be filters in 10 years? Yeah, because we knew about The Matrix 20 years ago. Or 30 years ago, 25. That's why I made that picture overboard. I remember sitting in Photoshop, smudging my face, and people were like, what are you doing? Because I was doing it at school. And like, what are you doing? And I was like, this is what you all are going to look like. And then my favorite thing was to go to my favorite artist, Cindy Sherman, on her Instagram and see she was doing the same thing. Well, not the same now, sound like I'm. No, she's a queen, you know, Cindy is the best. But I like that I did it, then she did it. It's like we're in the same reality. She can do no wrong because she has balls of steel. Okay, Cindy, let's go. Cindy Sherman, Cindysherman. So you had The Matrix, and then you guys who watched it and understood it, you did not fall into the social media trap. And then obviously video games, Deus Ex, Metal Gear Solid, all these interactive things were about moral ambiguity of transhumanism, AI, deep state corruption, whatever. We wanted to show you what the year 3000 looks like. If you go to the web node in the description section for this channel, we tell you what year 3025 looks like or looked like before we went back in time to change it. That's another thing. The moon manifestita, moon manifestita. Go to my community post and you'll see her channel. She also mentioned the time travel thing, and I wrote about that in 2020 on the website. So we are time travelers, and we wanted you to see the cyberpunk reality you are going to have if you don't get with the program. We're going to lose everything that you think is boring in the suburbs right now. It's all gone. That's why I love the suburbs. I will never live in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills or whatever because I want to live with the people in the suburbs. Where I come from, there's no suburbs. Everyone lives in a building like a dormitory, and no one has a gender. No one has any identity except what they do for work. There's no such thing as social reproduction theory. That's why you have to go and help Melinda Gates now. Because she's gonna save the world. Okay. So the Telecommunications Act gave us free rein to do and say whatever we want, like we're doing now, and to make the truth the most profitable, engaging product on earth. Because no one can run away from the truth eventually. So every time a demon scoffs at our alien shows at Star Marine, that's good because we tricked them. And then we get to go on and do whatever we want for as long as we want, and no one will stop us. That's why we need to suspend your disbelief. That's our big thing. Oh, I'm seeing here. Zodic says, I loved the original Deus Ex game. So good and absolutely right about that. And he says, same, although I prefer living out near the forest, more rural. Yeah, forest, nature. But I mean, you don't have to agree with me, guys. But I'm just saying, don't prescribe yourself to an idea of what society says you should do. Like, I know why I want to live in the suburbs because I like the convenience of having everything nearby, but also having privacy and trees, and you don't have to hear it or see anything, and it's quiet. What I don't, but if you want to live on the forest or a rural area or a farm, good, but don't go to a farm because you want to run away from demons and you want to hide and prep for doomsday. Now you're going into dangerous territory. Go to the farm because you want to go to the farm because you want the air or the cows and the whatever. Or don't like it's all about the intention. Why are you doing it? Are you feeding a frag or are you feeding the light? And we try to show you through the shows that you are always feeding the light and to never lose hope that the light is coming to get you or save you because, duh, we have. He did. He did it. We are just the beneficiaries now. So now 2008, that wasn't us. Don't blame us for 2008. That was the FCDs, the frags. So basically, think about this. I told you the frags like to dominate or annihilate and then annihilate if they can't dominate. And I told you they use hive mind strategies. So they like to use fear or they like to like get into your head. Don't you realize 2008 people were buying these fake house CDCs? What is it? Cash. You know what it is, that thing. See, I don't even know what to say because it's crap. But people were buying that thing thinking they were buying home loans of homes that were paid off, but the homes weren't paid off. It was like nonsense. But because half of the Star Marines ran away to live in the rural areas, I'm not picking on you, Zodek. He says basically what I was trying to say. I know. But it is natural for Star Marines. I mean, I wanted to go run away. That's the only reason I wanted to live on a farm because I wanted to be running away from demons. Um, and then when I didn't want to run away, I want to live in the city. So I think it's very interesting that when you actually find what you really want, your decisions become less guilt-inducing because you know you're not doing something that's reactive, like, oh, I'm running to the forest or the farm so I can get away from the demons. So now I need to have weapons. I need to have a strategy because what if they come in this door? What if they come in here? It ends up becoming like bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Whereas if you just say, no, I'm gonna go and live there because I want to raise cows, you get pleasure from raising cows or gardening or whatever, then you're good at you're doing what Abel did, which is you're giving that sacrifice, that offering. that's natural. It's not like Cain's offering, which was very strategic. Oh, I'm going to grow these plants, and then God's going to say I'm good because it's hard to grow plants. It's easy to for a cow to just be born from another cow. So why should he get the glory? It's very weird. Oh, it's 3:33 p.m. over there. Well, there you go. Shout out to Casey, the Guardian Oracle. We need to have Casey on the show because she knows things. Okay, so 2008 financial crash that was built on this fragile, corrupt lies of the frags. So now, although we didn't cause the crash, we definitely amplified the meaning. So we used it to change the course of history. So, for example, if you look at you remember that magazine, Time magazine, where they had like 10 most influential people of the year or whatever. In the first 10 years of the 2000s, you would have noticed it was like Tom Cruise, Oprah, she was always number one. Then 2008, it went to Kim Kardashian and then Lady Gaga and then like Kristen Cavallari from The Hills or something. Like everything changed from one kind of category to I'm going to say it like this, but I don't mean it like this. It went from high class to low class. Did not mean it like that, but that's what I'm trying to say. Why? Because we came for the low class humans. It's their English. It's so we had to make them famous. You guys know what I mean. So it made this thing work. Okay, Zodiac says, I agree with that. Casey needs to get on here. Yes. And the other stuff. Don't leave me hanging out on my own. No, I'm kidding. You guys know what I mean. We had to change and empower the previously disenfranchised. You see, I don't like using politically correct language because it's invented by them. Okay, let me take that again. So the Forbes magazine, you would have noticed, or not Forbes, Time magazine, you would have noticed in the 2000s, they had like people of the year, and it was always people who held a certain amount of cultural capital in society linked to inspirational themes and self-actualization. And then as time went on, it changed after the economic crash to individuals being celebrated who represented a darker side of life. I mean, if you remember, 2008 wasn't just the economic crash, it was also the year that The Dark Knight came out. And the tagline for The Dark Knight was something like Darkness Rises or something. And so that whole theme was there. I just made a highlight of that. That's more, politically correct. But this is a TV show, so we can say whatever we want, but that's gonna sell better to the humans. The Star Marines can listen to the real thing. It's just our way of making it up to you for you guys always being bullied and hurt and people telling you you're crazy and you're a conspiracy theorist. Now you get to have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so the housing market collapse was a metaphor for reality itself being over-leveraged. The too big to fail banks were narrative stand-ins for the frags themselves. A rogue system demanding a bailout with human freedom. So you guys paid for that bailout. So you're funding black budgets, you're funding demons. The public's loss of trust in institutions was not a bug, it was the desired psychological state for our next move. So we used that to our advantage with The Dark Knight. So you guys had an economic crash. We already had a film lined up that was about that kind of thing. And then you watched it and you were like, oh my gosh, how did they do it at the same time? And you also felt better. Same with the Joker movie. You saw what the Joker did and now you watch the media. Same thing. Yeah. we make lemonade out of lemons because we know when the lemons grow. Uh-huh. So everyone ended up becoming like Agent Mulder. So we won at the end, and that's why Lady Gaga became huge. And that's why she was always, angry in her performances and breaking cars and stuff. Remember, she was on Oprah? Why did Oprah bring Lady Gaga? Aliens. They were aliens. Because aliens work together. Okay, now we need to talk about 26 fucking Dean. 2016 was the time I told you that's when I came here. So 1996, we did not come here. 2008, we did not come here. Actually, we did. Some of us did. But 2016, okay, 2008, we didn't come here. We came to Earth in this 21st century. Let's put it that way. Then we went into this dimension, well, the previous dimension where we changed the old tree. That was like a way station. It was a holding point. That's why everyone in there was crazy. Then we jumped into this one, the Venus Victrix dimension, where we are safe and everything's fine and we can talk about magic and there's nothing they can do about us. I mean, just take that in for a second. 500 years ago, we would not be allowed to have this conversation. Think of the people who had to leave this planet at the hands of these demons because they were accused of witchcraft. Just take a second to think about them and their children. They're watching us and they're very happy. And they're like, yeah, tattoo witch bitch on your forehead if you have to. But don't let those fucking demons use words to trap you behind a screen of their own design, where they can torture you and turn up the heat like an oven and get joy as they cook you from within. My God. Yeah, the spirit realm is not happy with humans at the moment. So 2016, we jump into this other dimension. So the human command analysts at the Pentagon used a modified version of the demon's own time portal opening thing, right? So the thing they used with the Philadelphia experiment to open that portal, we use that same technology. That's why in the very first episodes, I used to say, yeah, we stole the technology, and then I laugh and I stop and I say, we took back our own technology. But yes, this is that part now. So if you go back and you listen to that, that's what I was talking about. We stole the technology back from the Philadelphia experiment, because remember, they had control of all those documents and all that shit now. And it's years later, 2016. So yeah. So 2016, we made a synchronicity window. We did it from the year 3000. And it was a period where the collective unconscious was uniquely receptive to paradigm shifting narratives. So how did we do it? Now I'm going to say some things that you will recognize. If you are sensitive, please go fuck yourself. This is a TV show. So in 2016, do you remember something about pizza? Pizzagate. So the demons knew, because they know, like now, they know, we know. So now they're gonna try to do their other shit, but it's not gonna work, and no one's gonna find out about it. They'll just find out it failed. All you'll hear now is failures from people who are against Star Marines. So they knew we were gonna tell you guys about Pizzagate, and they didn't want us to tell you. So they did a preemptive strike, and they, you know what they did? They told the news it was fake, and they made jokes about it, and they just discredited the whole thing. We don't need to go there. So, as usual, we did not do a defensive attack. We kept quiet and went to Netflix, and we invented a little show called Stranger Things, which was about children being abducted and aliens and pizza parlors and that whole aesthetic that they were trying to hide. So we still got in your brain. We always get your brain. Stranger Things premiered July 2016, and it was designed as a cultural memory trigger. 1983. But we said it was homage. We want to pay homage. That's what I say. I'm paying homage to Madonna. No, we are both spies, and I'm doing a mission. Here, she's doing a mission in America. And then in 2016, we also declassified UFO videos. So, yeah, Zodiac is like, indeed it was. So the 80s, which we mean. So we declassified some UFO videos, and that's when you started to hear the term UAP, 2016. That was the Human Command. Now, if you go to my Instagram at Charlie Manner, at CharlieManner on Instagram, go to a highlight tab that says Star Marine, and a year before MSNBC announced that the Pentagon was announcing aliens, I told you they were gonna do it. Because I work there. Because you work there. Welcome to your induction. Why do you think there's no one ever in here except Star Marines? There's no. Have you noticed that there's never any trolls in here? Except like one time. But that is going to change, okay? Because they want to go broad. So, that's why you have to know all this now. And before the new moon, someone needs to go for a full baptism before the 17th of February. The timing was deliberate to make the impossible undeniable at the precise moment the public was questioning everything. So they tell you Pizzagate is fake. We release Stranger Things about aliens, and then we get the Pentagon to tell you about aliens. Do you get it now? So that's how we work. The strategic outcome was that by tying our comeback to these real seismic events, the humans were able to not get bogged down by them and see them as like, oh, life is bad, life is tough. They were able to find meaning. And that's why I had to study semiotics, because it's meaning making. That's what it means. What is semiotics? It's meaning making. How to make meaning. Because that's the mission. So sponsor satisfaction. In order for aliens to fund our operations, we rely on advertisers. Because we don't have access to the black budgets anymore that we used to in the good old days. So whenever we do these psyops against the demons, we also have to satisfy the sponsors. So yes, there's going to be those things. Product placement. Okay, it's Human Command Center. They tell us which products don't use human labor or don't, strategic partnerships. Why do I drink Coca-Cola in the liminal zone, but in real life I don't eat sugar? So, because Coca-Cola is a good guy. That's why. Because without them you wouldn't have water. primary water. You would only have tap water, which they use to wash dead bodies with it. And there's cocaine in there and all that stuff. And then you boil it when you make tea, and you make the drug stronger because you evaporate the water, and then you wonder why you feel tired when you drink tap water. Okay, so viewer engagement. So engagement is also a very huge thing with aliens. That's why I always post the stats on everywhere with what Monoptic is doing in terms of the share. We call it like a share count of viewers. Obviously, this is not TV or terrestrial broadcasting, so we can't do the normal share structure because we don't have Nielsen devices in everyone's house to monitor what they are watching. Why do you think we give you those Nielsen things? So we can see how to get to you in a good way, but we're the good guys. Steven Spielberg will show you, but you have to pay attention. And Zodek, I still haven't seen the trailer for Disclosure Day. Whenever I'm on Instagram and I see a post about it, I'll like it and quickly move on because I want to just enjoy it. I want to enjoy something in life. So viewer engagement is very important because we don't want people to always be in this active state of paranoia because they act. Zodix is exactly right. Yeah. It's always nice to just enjoy it because we want you to suspend disbelief. We want to suspend disbelief as well. And so we don't want this active paranoia that people have because it kind of makes them act in ways that create problems for other people. You guys saw what happened. We don't need to go into that, people splitting up families because of political beliefs. Zodek says, I feel you on that. Exactly. It's just such a very dangerous thing. And you would think the military would be number one priority. It wouldn't be like all these little things that they talk about. It would be the major things like people's paranoia brought on by, yeah, it's designed how you don't think about it because you're going to go mad because it's designed to make you go mad because it's made by mad people. So aliens want to satisfy sponsors. They want to have active viewer engagement to show that the program is working, of course, to get more money. And we also like to use coincidences because we can't use miracles and like proper signs. That's why you will never just go look up Project Sign and go listen to my song The Sign, and then ask yourself why in the whole song I say omen like 30 times and I only say sign once, but I named it The Sign. And then figure out what's the difference between a sign and an omen. So we're not really telling a story about the past. We are using the past to prepare you for what's actually going to happen with these astrological things, like what you're going to live through. It's predictive programming. And your job as a Star Marine is to have watched these shows growing up, which you did, so that when it happens, you're the one who's going to calm everybody down because you're the one they're going to come to, right? Because they called you a weirdo and you know the stuff, and now they're going to need you and you're going to help them. And by help them, I mean not take on their burden. You're going to do monoptic technology on them. So now the next phase is we are integrating the 2023 congressional UAP hearings as the moment that the human command goes public, forcing the demons into the light, and that'll be like the real world event. So this whole event that everyone's waiting for, like the mothership, the real event is when they tell the people Well, they did in 2023, but now we haven't integrated it. So now we need the Spielberg movie to do well. We need Star Marine, we need Surviving Romy to do well in order for this knowledge that has already been proven in 2023. And I told you in 2022 it would happen. Um, and I said, don't believe the fake UFOs in the sky. Yes, because we are the real ones. And again, those fake UFOs were made by demons, and then we took credit because that's we have to counter strike like that with coincidences. I hope that makes sense. Just think of the Stranger Things thing as how we do it. They make a move, we make a counter move using what they did for our benefit, and then it always fits into a bigger design that even the demons can't control. I hope that makes sense. So this transmission, it was for Star Marines, but you guys already know this, but mainly it's the Pentagon. I'm preparing you because the Pentagon's about to do something and tell you guys. And you need to know now because you're going to be asked to do a lot of things by Yeshua. You're going to get feelings and impulses, and you are being told to follow those, to go to places. They call them divine appointments. I had a couple the other day. I was at somewhere and I just had the impulse to tell someone something about them. And they told me, oh my gosh, you were the third person to tell me that. One guy pulled her out of the lift, the elevator, as you say in America. We call it a lift. And told her, didn't say hi or anything. She's like, he told me God's waiting for you. You need to pray. And she opened up so much and she was like, yes, I've always had feelings that there were demons, that I think I'm married to a demon. I don't know what to do. And then I was like, you need to watch the episode called The Christ Bride one or The Riz one, where I tell you that any man you marry is a demon because you are not meant to be married. That's why Oprah is not married. Have you seen Stedman? Where's Stedman? I mean that in a good way, meaning we want you to be like that. Don't be those people who are obsessed with relationships and whatever. Keep it private. Go with your Stedman in your private thing, but you don't need to get married because I told you yesterday it does something. I just got a mental note from Zodek. But if you are, it's fine because you gonna help the people. You know what it is. Okay, so now you guys know what's coming, what's happening. You all need to watch Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg on the 26th of June when it comes out. Because now you know you're not just watching a movie, you are building a budget for us so that we can come to Earth like fully. I mean, we're already here, but you know what I mean? We can actually imagine going to the shop and people know you're an alien. So you have diplomatic status, which Obama put in, and you can be yourself. Like they can't like in apartheid, black people couldn't shop at Woolworths, for example. We had to, my mom always tells the story that whenever she had to go shopping, the black people had to shop and look through this thin little like mailbox because white people weren't allowed to look at black people. It was like a sin because we were evil. They said our skin was black because God made us Cain. It's the mark of Cain because we are devils. So we can't be seen. And then the white people go in the big door with the nice, electrified sliding doors. So whenever I ask her about that time, like what it felt like, because I can't imagine that in my mind, because I would flip out if that happened to me. Like if the demons wanted to get me on a case, they would have made me be born in apartheid because, yes, I would have blown stuff up, I would have cut everything, the whole thing, and had fun too doing it. But anyway, my mom didn't. She looked through the little hole. So now we can shop at Woolworths. And the great thing about our country is we never had a war. We smoothly transitioned into peace, which is why we don't want a repeat of the American Civil War from 1861 with this Saturn moving into Aries and on the 14th in a couple of days. It's critical that that does not happen. So you all need to behave and hold on to the light from the 14th onwards. You can cry now, you can go like get over the shock that you're an alien and everything's happening. But by the 14th, you need to be with the program because 3 days after that, it's the 17th, which is a new moon in Aquarius. I have a song called Aquarius for a reason. After that, it's done. The next 36 years are locked in. So on the 17th, you're going to have feelings. If you are with us, you will feel great. Life will just seem like it's opening up. You'll feel like Cinderella, like fairy godmothers are with you. People will call you, will look at you and say you're like young and just everything. You'll be a star. This is your star power time. That's why we like using the idea of celebrities, not because celebrity, but because you are the star, you are the star marine, you are the celebrity to us. We watch you in the spirit realm, we like your show because it's actually doing something. Now, if you are not feeling well in that time, it's going to be because you are being rewired. Recursive immersive wound re-stimulation therapy. So any childhood wound you have will keep getting triggered over and over and over again until March 3rd, the Virgo eclipse. After that Virgo eclipse, it won't just be a re-triggering of the wound inside of you, like hearing a song that reminds you of your ex or seeing a car that your dad used to drive and you don't like your dad or whatever. It's going to start coming physical. So after March, it's going to be not just hearing a song or seeing it. They'll start knocking on your door. You will go to a new job, and the person you sit next to will look exactly like the person you like the least. You will go on a date, and they will look, smell, talk like your ex. It's going to be like live TV. You're going to be like on Ed TV. Remember Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey? You're going to be Ed TV. The liminal zone was there to kind of prepare you for what's going to happen. Because a good way for you to think of it would just be to act like there's a camera following you everywhere. So if there's a camera following you everywhere, you're not going to look at illegal images of vulnerable individuals. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're imagining there's a camera there with you 24/7. So it's also going to make you act better. Not you, I'm talking to the humans now. You guys would never do that. So yes, people are going to complain to you that they feel like they're being watched, that they feel like the humans now, that they feel like they're being gang stalked. You are no longer going to have that feeling. You're going to feel the angels that are now around you. But the humans are going to be like, they're going to lie, not lie, because earlier last year we said hallucinations. That's also not the right word. It's paranoia. Let's call it technophobia. They're going to be technophobic. So you're going to start seeing a rise of actual political parties built on dismantling 5G and AI. When we won that court case for the AI music thing with Warner Brothers, they were weeping and gnashing their teeth. They were so mad, especially because they laughed at me when I did AI music, as they call it, where they think you just push a button and music comes out. Why don't they do it then? Because they were like, it's never gonna happen. They're gonna get sued into oblivion, and then the court case we won, and then the court case was theater, guys. Think about it. No one is going to invest millions and billions into AI music technology for it to be thrown away because society said so. Because the same society who buys phones made by children are complaining that electricity is making music and so we don't have to abuse workers. Come on, don't be stupid. It's not going anywhere. So that's the next thing we need to fight. So we need to fall in love with AI. We need to make humans fall in love with AI and robots and Neuralinks and all of that. But let's not use Neuralink now because Elon is saying that black people are committing genocide. Why? Because our government in South Africa won't let him run Starlink out of the country without paying a huge levy. And he says it's racist. The government says it's because his family, they don't say that. I'm saying it. I think they are saying it because his family extracted so much wealth from the country that he needs to pay a levy. Um, he's not just gonna come in here and do whatever he wants. So that's why he must pay. And we will happily have Starlink. We want Starlink. I need Starlink for Star Marine. I thought of different names for the fictional company in the show. I thought of Starnet, but it sounds like Skynet, which is bad, and we can't have bad associations with aliens. So then I was like, Star Burst, but that sounds a little naff. So I'm just gonna be like Starlink. And so, yeah, he needs to either get with us or we'll find another alien cooperative way to do it. So, when these people come to you, do not laugh at them. Don't tell them, yeah, you deserve it because you were a bad person. Two things you can do: leave them alone, walk away. Like, it's better than doing something bad. Or confirm what they see. Now, this might seem cruel, but actually, you'll get more good luck if you do it like this because you are then becoming an active agent in the Monoptic 3000. So, what do I mean? Confirm what they say. Do not argue with them. If they come up to you and say, I think the government's spying on my phone, you must say, yes, I saw a documentary about this guy. They were spying on his phone, and then you add spice to make them crazier because you're a monoptic agent now. You don't want them to go and hurt other people, so they must go be paranoid in their own little hole and they must stay in their house and not get out because they're scared of smart homes and Alexa. And by the way, why are you scared of Alexa? What are you saying in your house that you don't want people to know? That's what I want to know. I don't mind Alexa listening to me. They can listen. They're watching now. Hi NSA, there's nothing I'm doing that I don't need them to see. So, what's the problem? I know humans don't like that. But in alien land, we don't have privacy because we read our thoughts. That's how we communicate. Zodic says, "Ah, I have to go. It was nice catching as much of this live as I could. I'll catch the replay when it's available." Perfect, Zodic. And I appreciate you coming. Thank you. And I know, guys, it's going to be up on the replay. Sometimes I do private them because when I'm done, I'm like, we can't say that. So I might leave it open for like a day or two. The aliens want everything open because we changed the tree of life. Remember last year we put Neptune in the fourth Sephiroth with knowledge. So now it has to be out, but I have to live on Earth. I have to date people. How am I gonna find a guy when he thinks I'm gonna control his brain? So we have to have some kind of, secrecy for my personal love life. But Zodek, awesome for coming, and I'll see you again in the next one. So when these people come to you, though, you're gonna reinforce whatever it is they tell you. If they tell you the end of the world is coming, they're gonna reset everything in 2030. You're gonna be communists. Remember at the beginning, I told you that's how they tried to get James Forrestal. Well, they did get him, but he's a spirit, so they didn't get him. And so they're going to do the same thing, but now you are going to turn it on them and you are going to MK Ultra them and say, exactly, exactly, yes. And then smile and walk away. Easy. But then the other thing you need to do, there's so many spy cameras on Amazon. There are pen spies, there are keyring spies, cameras, microphones, recording devices. You need your own suite of espionage tools now because life is serious. It's not going to be like 1861 where you're on the battlefield in Gettysburg. You are now in the corporate world. It looks shiny and fancy, but you guys know what goes on in there. It's all in the news. You know what went on in those music offices when people went in for a music contract and came out with cum on their mouth from sucking some record exec's dick. What does that have to do with making an album? I don't know. I didn't do that in my album. I was alone with Silicon Valley in my album. Thank God. So then what kind of energy is going to be in the music when you're listening to someone's voice who embedded in their voice is the pain of having to suck dick for a record deal? Who wants to listen to that? And then you listen to it and you wonder why you have bad luck. Or you watch movies of these actors who made demonic deals and you wonder why your life is falling to shit. It's a demonic contract. You're giving them your energy and they're giving the energy to the demon under a 10-year contract. There are time limits on those things. 2016, 2026. Trump has gone mad. His deal is up. Do you get it now? We are not ones to be fucked with. You and me, the aliens. And we've been so nice up until now. We've been going on peaceful marches and protests and writing proposals and memorandums and meeting for meetings at the town hall. But now we know they don't care because they keep stealing the money. They keep going on these secret parties where if you're not there, you can't even apply for a promotion. So you have these good people working. Zerdek says, thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Good night, Zerdek, and we'll see you next time, hey? And have a good night. And send my regards to everyone over there. And so you have these. I just wish we didn't have to keep talking. There's a wonderful artist called Wunmi, Wunmi. She's Nigerian, but she lives in New York right now. And I follow her on Instagram. So go to my Instagram and search Wunmi. And she has a song called Talk, 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 where she basically talks about how everybody's talking, but nobody's listening and nothing is happening. And this is something that has infected Africa for a long time. And it's so sad to see it affecting or infecting America now. Because we used to look at America as the gold standard of Star Marine capability, ingenuity. Yes, there was corruption in America since Jimmy Hoffa, but there was a Jimmy Hoffa to be disappeared. We've never even had a Jimmy Hoffa. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you guys actually do the thing. You have investigative journalists like Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. We don't have that. There's no one who can just say the truth. So now that America seems to be going down this path of like a mid-African country where a random person can become president with no qualifications, no experience. They can say whatever they want, do whatever they want. That's fucked up. That's low class. That's bad, America. Very bad. But We as Star Marines recognize it's also our fault. Why is it our fault? Because these people use magic. And where does it come from? Africa. And not all magical practitioners are as scrupulous as I am. They will just sell you spells because it's quick money. And you have to know magicians don't work for money. We don't care about money. Money is the last thing on our minds. In fact, it's anyway. We work for power, control. Some people work for control for nefarious reasons, and other people work for power for control in order to become like a benevolent dictator or to make decisions like Oprah. She's it's her studio, her everything. She makes the decision herself on what show to put on. So she's not beholden to anybody, maybe Discovery, but even then, not really. So we want you to be the same. That's why marriage is hard. That's why the Bible says don't do it. In Romans, Paul says, but Jesus said you can if you want to, because it depends on you. But if you do it, then don't get divorced, because in the spirit realm, there's no divorce. So bottom line is, yes, it's gonna get really bad. And that's why I keep laughing and trying to keep it light, because it's not bad for you. And as an empath, it's easy for you to feel bad for the other people, but you can't this time. Just this one time. You cannot feel bad because it'll affect the entire grid because you are connected to it. And if you feel bad, then you open more portals for the chupacabras and the goat, whatever, to come through. And you're going to be confirming these people's fears. We would rather you quickly say to someone, yes, demons are real, chupacabras are real, bye, I gotta go, then go into a 10-minute conversation where it affects your vibration and you start really getting into it and thinking about it. Because when you start thinking about what they want you to think about, you're lost. It's gone. So in order to avoid it, that's what my trainer taught me at 19. Neuro-linguistic programming. She said, when you go to someone, so we were selling insurance door to door. And she said, when you go to someone, but we would train neuro-linguistic programming for 6 hours, and then we would go out in the field for the rest of the time and practice what we did. And it was hardcore drills. And she said, when you go to someone and they don't want to talk to you because they think they know what you're going to do, all you do is you wave your hand and shake your head and you say, no, 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 I'm not here for that. And before they have a chance to speak, you go into your lead in. That's how I want you to deal with these people. So in the instance where they just come up to you and start telling you this nonsense, or if it's someone who's close to you and you don't have the heart, not you don't have the heart, but you have to be diplomatic. You know, you're a diplomat now. So yes, you might think they're a nut job, but you're not going to tell them that. Okay? You're going to be a diplomatic person. If you want to know what that's like, go to the Facebook page for the movie. And there's this part where Romy asked me, so she was drugging me through the food, right? They would put it in the actual food. And then she would phone me to check I'd eaten the food. And I wouldn't eat the food because it would tasted like ass. And so I was starving half the time. So I ended up eating like 7-Eleven every day, like cakes. And I'm a vegetarian, so I can't eat meat. And so I'm eating cakes and just a bunch of, sweet treats and stuff. So, and like cheese sandwiches, toasted cheeses. So anyway, she calls me the one time, and I'm so lucky I got this on, not lucky, I got it on, proof on tape. So go to the Facebook page and you'll see it. If you want to find the Facebook page, go to my Instagram at Charlie Manor, and then click on the Facebook link. It's the main one. So she asked me on a WhatsApp message, "Did you eat? How's the?" It was falafel. It did not look like falafel. So she says to me, "How was the falafel?" I'm like, "I haven't eaten it yet. I'm smoking." I think I told her I was smoking a joint or something. And then she says, "Oh, well, I think you should try it because Michelle, her boyfriend, that she thought I was going to steal, but he used to be a model. I'm in the middle of Asia. She's trying to kill me. Things happen when she's in New York. I don't know. I didn't say that. I'm kidding. It's a movie. Uh, but she shouldn't have sent me a picture of him half naked and not a picture, a video. And I put that video on the Facebook page. It's nothing bad, but I was like, why are you sending me? I was on my day off and she sends me a picture of her boyfriend cleaning the pool half naked. What am I gonna supposed to say? Anyway, you people play too much with your relationships. That's why you need to be like Oprah. Oprah doesn't send videos of her statement anywhere. It's private, guys. And I don't condone stealing boyfriends, as Ashley Simpson says, unless it's a psychopathic killer. So she asks me in the thing, which you can read on the thing, um, what did you eat the food? I'm like, no, not yet. And then she's like, well, my boyfriend says it's salty. Do you mind having a taste? Okay, I'll have a taste in a minute. Okay, do you want to just try it now? I don't know. But then I'm like, okay, fine, I'll have a taste. So I taste the thing, and it tasted like sand. So then I say to her, now this is the diplomatic part. My normal personality would say this tastes like ass. But I can't say that because I'm investigating a white collar criminal who stole money from old people and children and orphans in England and got convicted of it. So I have to act dumb the whole time. This is what we want you to do. So I say to her, how did I say it? I said, it tastes unique. The flavor, oh, I said it has a unique flavor profile, which is not to my taste, but I can see how it might work for other food eaters or something like that. Basically, the same thing as it tastes like ass, but using the whole demonic language, the political euphemistic language. And then she was like, "Oh, you're so polite." And then I put the South African flag because at that time I did not know she was in on the killing. Um, I thought they were trying to kill both of us actually because I thought it was because we were South African and they wanted us to leave the country. So I was going to save her on the last night. I was going to drive to her and like escape with her and say, "Come, we gotta go, we gotta go." And that's why if you read that message, I say to her, "I'm gonna tell you something off the record." And I said, "I'll only tell you or Roger." I said, "I'll only tell you or Roger, the billionaire that everyone is so scared of to talk to me because they don't want to piss him off." And she said to me, you can go read it. She said, "No, you'll never tell Roger anything. You only talk to me." So also remember, I'm half drugged, okay? So I can't use my full powers. They tried to do me like James Forrestal. So then I was on my way there and something just said, no, if you go there, you'll die. That's literally the voice. It was God. And then after that, God and Jesus came and they got me. Okay, yes, I actually had a manifestation of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit in one location. And they told me everything. And I remember telling them, I don't believe you. um, yes. And then listen to the song Night Game on Spotify to see what happened next. And Mvikeli on Spotify to hear what happened next. I don't want to go there. So When you are being diplomatic, it's because we don't want you to, it's because it's rooted in scripture. King David, your grandfather, he's the one who did this method, and he's the one who proves it works, and he's the one who proves that just because you pass one thing, it doesn't mean you're free and clear. You have to keep doing the things. Because King David, remember, he had to go on the run, and then he did Psalms and blah, blah. Then he was king, right? He was safe, everything's fine. Then he had to do a census. But because he thought, oh, now I'm king, I'm a human king, whatever, he started acting like a human again. And then God took his army. So you need to go read the story why what he did. And it wasn't that bad to humans, but to us, it is bad. He went to do a census, right? He had to count the people in the village or in the city and in the town, whatever, his lands. And instead of using the census how aliens are supposed to do, okay, this is how demons do a census. Knock, knock, how many of you are there? Da da da, take notes, and you go away. Humans do it like that. Aliens, we don't do censuses like that. We go to the house, and the people tell us what they want. We interview people. They tell us what's happening, what's going on. We don't come with our agenda paid for by pharmaceutical industries. Yes, I worked for them. Paid for by them so that humans can get addicted to drugs. And then you go on, you hire, I don't know if they hire these Christians. I actually think they do, but they tell the Christians to go to churches and demonize witchcraft, tarot cards, star marines. Because why would someone wake up one morning and go to a church and start like talking bad or judging, like in a harsh way? You can judge, but not like that. About autistic people, they say that autistic people, I'm autistic, they say we are demonic. That's why I don't use Facebook anymore. Every day keep getting ads and stuff. Autistic people are crazy. They are weird. They're gonna take over the no. um, there's just this movies are the best way to reach them because in the movie theater, that guy who says autistic people are evil, he's watching the same movie that the Jew guy is watching, that the Zulu guy is watching, that the Indian is watching. They pirate movies, they bootleg them. So of course, as aliens, we are going to put ourselves slap bang in the movies because that's where you are. We are going to put ourselves in astrology because that's where you are. We're going to come through the tarot cards because you're not at church. You're in the tarot reading. You're here. You're at Monoptic. So then God had to come to Monoptic. You see what we mean? But now, because you are an agent, you are going to do it now. So now you are the thing. You're Monoptic. And you're going through your training as a Star Marine. And then once you get it, you're going to train your people in your location. Because that's the other thing. You can't move, or once you've moved, you have to keep your territory. Because remember, we don't fight against the flesh, we fight against principalities. But when Jesus redeemed us and came back to life, we own the principalities now. So you must go to the demon in your area, because there's a demon on every street corner, by the way, controlling the luck of the street, controlling the safety, controlling who dreams. Where do you think the government got the idea for the government? From us. We are the government. But we the real government. And it's all in the free book that we are giving you called Surviving Romy, Self-Initiation Guide, Monosoul Directive. You were supposed to get it earlier, but I don't know. I was just sensing a weird energy. So I'm going to give it to you when I feel like it's time. But it's done. It has the names of, it's taken from 3 different books, the Book of Shadows, the Book of Magic, the Book of Secrets, or whatever, by us. So those books are not out yet, but it's the main things you need now because you're going to need the stuff now. So it's the names of the demons, the 12 watches that fell out of earth, and how those watches, confirmation, and how those watches control demons, and how humans make contracts with demons who carry the energy back to the watchers, who are star marines who escaped from Eden when Cain was kicked out because they felt bad for him. You see what feeling bad can do to you? Yeah, it can turn you into a demon. So don't feel bad for anyone. It's like Nate Jackson says, we all know why we came here. If you don't want any shit, look away. And if you get shit, don't feel bad because we all know why we came to Earth. We wouldn't have manifested. We would have stayed in the spirit realm if we didn't want to do it. So we did it. So we're here. Vigeli version 3.5.7 for human command, eyes only. Okay, so Pentagon, you know what's up. You can go ahead now with your stuff. The aliens on our side, we've taken care of the human binding. If you want to know in detail the human binding, it's like a 4-hour video, the previous one to this. I am probably going to private that one. It was private. I only unprivated it because of the moon manifestita. She was very accurate with her reading today, and so I had to unprivate it for that reason, and I may leave it up or not. But this one will definitely be up because I had to vindicate James Forrestal because they tried to do the same thing to me that they did to him. And I'm saying that not because, ooh, I'm special, because they're going to do it to you. And you need to know what to do before so you can preemptive strike. For example, I knew that they were going to do something with me and to do like a sex scandal with me. So they started blocking my posts and my ads on Facebook. And the reason, the first thing was on, so what I did was I created different social media profiles so I could watch them because I knew they would do something. And that's why in the original marketing material, it says if you have a story to share, send it to this place. That was to watch them. And indeed, they went to the Twitter first, and there's a picture of me wearing a shirt, the same shirt I wear in Night Game. And I got an alert that says your profile has been blocked and locked because you are dressed in a sexually provocative way. Meanwhile, I've seen so much porn on that site running free. Do you see why Elon is next to go mad? Actually, should we do another spell? Make Elon mad because he's wearing thin on. No? Okay, okay. Okay. They'll take care of it. I did enough with the human binding. Oh, he's going to be under Monoptic 3000. Okay, okay, okay. See, it's going to take a second for me to get out of demon busting mode. Because I'm always like, oh, demon, okay. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so everything's fine. You guys know everything now. You see how Jesus, aliens, conspiracy theories, and the government and you fit together. It's all one cosmology, and you are the only one who doesn't remember. But now you are remembering, and we can't wait to have you fully online so you can actually start to do the promises that you made to God in the spirit realm. Because when you do that, you invite so much light and so many angels, And it just makes your and everyone around you's life so much better. So much better. There's no jealousy, there's no feeling of lack, that feeling of if I don't have it and you have it, then there's something wrong with me. Like, that is so weird to us. But that's the thing that's keeping these demons locked in the type of frequency they're locked in on. And we are tired of it affecting us. Everyone was supposed to know about this in 1947. It is now 2027. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2007, 17. That's 80 years of a destinies swapped, frozen. 80. Yeah, they're not happy. And it's gonna be bad. But you have to smile and laugh through it. So please remember to subscribe, share the movie. It's going to be a comedy. I know it's about human transportation. Well, it's not about human transportation. That's the lead into the movie. So the movie is not going to be about what happened to me. It's going to be about the victims of Romy from the Ponzi scheme, from the pyramid scheme. So I need to find those British people and the South Africans. So please help get the word out so I can get all of those people who think God abandoned them and that just stole their money and got away. No, we don't leave you. Come get your story. You are going to be all over the cinema screens. You're going to come walk up with me to fetch that Oscar and look in the camera and you're going to speak because I'm not going to say a fucking word. You're going to say whatever you want to say to the people, to Romy, whatever, because you count and God can hear your prayers and He has sent us. We are here. Those fuckers are done. Have a nice night.